mean, let's face it, I don't really ever not have glitter all over me, but especially today, it's already everywhere. Anyway. My name is Ivy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Glimmering Creatures Bundle Volume 1. I've had these eyeshadows for a little bit of time now. Glaminatrix released a bundle of these single shadows called their Glimmering Creatures Bundle. I want to say a couple of months ago now, and as soon as they started to share marketing imagery of the bundle, I was like, yes. That looks like it was made for me. They were a set of 6 neutral leaning eyeshadows that seemed to be in this like ultra metallic but still very sparkly format. At this point, I'd already tried some singles from the brand and was very pleased with the quality, and I was very excited about this release. So I did decide to take the plunge and order the Glimmering Creatures bundle in full. I decided to order them without the compacts because I knew that I was just going to want to use them as singles in my singles collection, but you can order the bundle with the little like circular compacts that they sell, which are really cute if you're looking to house them as individual shadows. I want to give you a little bit of a deep dive into the collection. We are going to be doing swatches, but I'm also going to have footage of eye swatches that I did of every shade. I feel like that will be really helpful when it comes to this collection in particular, so that you can see how they perform and how they blend out. Do forgive me, my eye swatches are not the best, and I do have on the sensitive side eyes, so I definitely feel like in the footage you'll see that they were starting to get a little bit red. Hopefully the footage is helpful for you, fingers crossed, and I didn't just like ruin my eyes for no reason at all. So if you have some time to look at some sparkly eyeshadows with me, then keep watching, because that is what we are about to get into. Let's start with giving you a look at all 6 of the shadows in the bundle. So here's a quick look at all of the shadows in the bundle. There are 6 shades. They all lean into this kind of neutral territory, although you can probably tell one is a little pinker than the rest, and they are all in the exact same formula. So I did purchase these as a bundle, and the bundle on their website is $39 US. If you were to buy these as individual shadows, I believe they are $8 US. And I'm sorry, I don't recall what I paid for shipping, but obviously shipping always depends on where you are located in the world, so best to look it up for yourself anyway. I would say the arrival time wasn't too bad after I ordered it. I ended up waiting longer for them to come because I ordered them in conjunction with another bundle, and I believe they were waiting on a pigment that they needed to make one of the shadows in that bundle. So I ended up waiting a little bit longer for these than I think some people did, but it was worth the wait. I feel like they are a spectacular formula. So I think actually the brand describes these as like ultra sparkly metallics. I would say that that is very accurate because they are metallic, which if you're kind of familiar with indie eyeshadows and indie eyeshadow textures, they have that sort of pigmented formula that when you blend it out on your eyes, it almost gives you that foily effect and it smooths out into a metallic sheeny finish. A lot of people are used to those kinds of shadows not really falling in the sparkly camp. They have that sheen and that metallic shine, but they don't give you the sparkle that sometimes you get from a drier formula or a piecier formula. So these, I would say, are actually quite unique in that they give you both. So you can definitely layer up and get that really metallic foiled effect. But if you start to blend out, whether it's with your finger or a brush, the edges of the shadow, you really get this very piecey, ethereal sparkle that comes off of it. And the sparkles are stunning in each shade. So I feel like you get the best of both worlds because I personally love a metallic, but I also love a piecey sparkle shadow. And these really do kind of give you both. So I'm excited to see that the brand actually announced very recently that they're going to be expanding the Glimmering Creatures collection. They have 6 new shades that it looks like they're going to be releasing more in the red and green family. Am I going to order those green shadows? You know I am. But after my no-buy. By the way, I'm on a no-buy right now. I'm on a no-buy for the next 3 months, like right through holiday season. And I have to say I'm actually very relieved to be on a no-buy. It's going to feel good. I feel good already. I feel like a relief. The fact that I don't have to make choices right now. I can just be, which is great. But after my no-buy, I do have a small growing wish list of things that I want to keep my eye on. And Glimmering Creatures Volume 2 is definitely one of those things. But for now, I'm very excited to be playing around and have been testing out Volume 1. Okay, so let's get into some individual swatches, and we are going to start with the shade Panda. I would describe Panda as a very kind of cool leaning taupey shimmer sparkle. It has a lot of cool leaning silvery kind of specks in it, and it definitely has a lighter kind of beigeier base pigment. It's very pretty, and if you are into cool toned metallic sparkle, I feel like this is going to be a great shade for you. This was actually kind of a surprising shade for me because it's not necessarily the most effective at looking amazing in the pan, but when you swatch it out and you put it on your eyes, I feel like it is quite special. It's actually what I have on my eyes today in this look, so if you see what's on the inner third of my lid, that is Panda. And I wanted to use it because I felt like using a cooler tone sparkly shade would be a little bit more unusual for you guys to see how I incorporated it into a look. And I did use color in today's look. So I'm pairing it with a navy blue matte shadow. And then I have some Kitten, which is the pinker sparkly shade under my eye, along with a kind of lavender pinky shadow. So hopefully this is helpful so that you can see how I'm using this shade in real life. And I do find again that this is a very kind of cool and unique shade. I love that it's leaning in that silver cool tone direction without being a silver, which to know me is to know that I think that silver is kind of irrelevant, at least for me in the way that I do my makeup personally. So don't take offense if you love silver. I'm just saying that I'm not like a big silver person. This is a very wearable, beigey taupey silver. I don't really have anything that I can compare it to in my own collection. I feel like that's true of a lot of these shades. There's a Dior shade called Beige Mitzvah or something like that. I feel like based on what I've seen online, this could be close to that. I'm betting you it's way prettier. Just because, let's face it, like luxury beauty is interesting and cool. It's not particularly like, wow. So anyway, that is Panda on my eyes and swatched. All right, so the next shade is called Mink. Mink is far more of what I would call a truer silver. It has kind of a rosier undertone, but it's still obviously quite a cool leaning shade. It's very much like a gunmetal kind of color. I think that Mink is the perfect name for it. It just has that kind of like minky look to it. It's really hard for me to describe it in any other way. But if you were thinking that the first shade that I showed you, Panda, isn't cool enough, I would say that Mink is going to be a favorite for you. It is extremely cool toned, and it's, again, the same formula, that really sheeny metallic, but still has those little tiny sparkles in it. So hopefully you can start to see not only how metallic it is, but just truly how sparkly it is. But yeah, this is a beautiful, like I said, gunmetal-y kind of color. And I think that if you love cool tone sparkle, it's going to be your best friend. It's definitely the coolest shade in the grouping. So the rest start to go, warmer and a little bit more brown, although the next one is pink. This next shade is called Kitten, and Kitten really kind of surprised me in that it is a pink. It is truly a pink. Let's not mess around and pretend that it's not pink. It's pink. It's a pink, sparkly shade. And it's not the kind of thing that I would usually pick out myself, but I love this shade. I think it is such a beautiful, sparkly, cool-toned pink. And I can see why they included it in this collection. At first I was a little like, well, it does feel quite pink compared to everything else, but especially when you're using it in the context of the other shades, you can just really see how special it is, and you can really see how delicate the sort of like touch of pink is. So while I am not a huge pink person, I don't pretend to be a huge pink person, I think that this is a really beautiful pink. And if you love pink, I think you'll love it. And even if you don't love pink, I think you'll still really enjoy it. This next shade is called Lion. Lion is one of my favorite shades in the bunch. Yes, is it more of a traditional kind of, you know, warm brown shimmer shade? Yeah, it is. Is it the most beautiful version of that shade that I've probably ever used? Yes, it is also that. It is just this really warm, ethereal, kind of chocolatey brown. We do go darker in a few of the other shades that are in the collection. This is probably the lightest of the 3 browns. I love Lion. I think it really just gives you that like warm caramelly kind of feeling. You can cool it down if you were to pair it with like cooler tone shadow, but you can also warm it up and pair it with like reds and coppers, etc. This feels like a perfect shade for right now for fall. I feel like it will suit so many eye colors and so many hair colors. It's really beautifully done. This next shade is called Fox. It starts to get a little more gold than Lion does. It for sure is not a gold. It is a beige. But I would say if you're comparing it, especially against Lion, it does have a little bit more of that like goldy feel to it, almost like autumnal weedy kind of feel. And I love this shade as well. I think that if you really love a brown sparkle, but you have trouble going kind of too deep, something like this will really be appealing to you. It's gold without being gold. It's brown without being brown. It's somewhere in the middle of all these shades together. And it is very flattering. And our final shade is the shade Bear. I love this one. For me, this kind of deeper, more chocolatey brown is so appealing. I love to wear this in looks. This is like the perfect kind of smoky eye shade. I think that if you pair it with color or you pair it with other neutral matte shades, this is really still going to be impactful. I think it's also very similar. I'm gonna maybe compare it myself just for fun to Lithium, which is a beautiful Urban Decay single shadow as well. I'm not sure exactly how similar they're going to end up being, but I think that this kind of reminds me of that earthy, grungy, sparkly kind of shade. And I feel like, especially when I kind of compare it against the other shades in the collection, it does have a beautiful level of depth to it. It just has an earthiness to it that I always go for and reach for. So that shade in particular really appealed to me right away. In fact, I think I'm going to go compare it to Lithium right now because we're here, so we might as well. Let's do it. Here I have Lithium in the pan. As you can see, I think already that maybe it's a lot cooler and grayer than the shade Bear, but let's swatch them next to each other because you just never know. Sometimes in the pan, things look different. They look like they'd actually layer up together really beautifully. So here we have the shade Lithium by Urban Decay, and then next to it is the shade Bear by Glaminatrix. As you can see, Lithium has more of these like bluer, cooler toned sparkles in it. It's also a much less opaque base pigment. It gets a lot more sheer, and then there's much more warmth and thicker base pigment within the Glaminatrix shade Bear. But they do play in the same family, and I feel like this shade, Lithium, would pair really beautifully with Bear, like as a topper. I'm glad that I did this comparison because it's fun for me to see how similar and also different they actually are. So hopefully through the magic of editing, you've been able to see a series of hand and eye swatches for every shade, and you have a good sense of both the color and the texture. Again, I really feel like these fall into a more unique camp because of their ability to both deliver on high metallic sheen, but also really piecey, beautiful sparkle. So if you are a total magpie like I am, I do believe that these will really appeal to you. And as I noted, the brand is going to be coming out with some more colors in the same formula, and I am really excited about that because I think this is a wonderful formula that I'd like to see them include in future palettes and in more singles. Like, I'm all about it. I think it's great. I have been super happy with wearing these shadows and seeing how they perform on the eyes. So I hope that this video was helpful for you, and I think it's hopefully going to be a short one this time for real. And if you have any questions about the formulas or about the shades or anything to do with it, let me know in the comments or hit me up on Instagram. I'm always happy to chat more, and I hope to see you in the next video. I would love to have you give this one a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe so that we can hang out in more future content. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.